All right. What's up, everybody? Today, I'm going to try to go over some of the aspects of cellular respiration and also discuss how you can be asked about cellular respiration in a test-like situation. So let's get straight to it. It says how many oxygen molecules are needed to completely oxidize one molecule of glucose under aerobic respiration conditions. And so before we even start, the key word here is aerobic respiration. And some of you, again, as I told you, will know that you need to memorize certain words for the MCAT, and aerobic is definitely one of them because aerobic means with O2. Okay, so basically, I'm asking, assuming you break down glucose completely under aerobic conditions, what's going to happen? And so now I'm going to go over one of the ways that students try to approach this problem that doesn't always pan out well. And I'm going to tell you why, because this question kind of makes you think you need to go into the details, right? It makes you think that you have to go into the details of aerobic respiration. And so a lot of students will approach this by saying, okay, well, this is aerobic respiration right here in the upper left-hand corner. And you have glycolysis, and then you have pyruvate being produced from glycolysis that then gets converted to acetyl-CoA through pyruvate oxidation. Then you have the citric acid cycle and oxidative phosphorylation. And if you've studied respiration, you'll know that O2 actually comes in the oxidative phosphorylation phase, right? We have oxygen in oxidative phosphorylation because that's where the oxygen takes the electrons from a lot of the carriers that have been produced. Similarly, this other diagram I have in the lower left corner, I've just made because I wanted to show everyone that you also, I mean, this is not something you'll need to know for this question, but for anything else, you should definitely know the amount of NADH and ATP produced in every step of glycolysis for the MCAT, hands down. And the thing that's responsible here is the NADH and FADH2. Just remember that there's 10 total NADHs produced and 2 FADHs produced in the process of um, respiration, aerobic respiration. So what I want to do is I want to go into obviously the oxidative phosphorylation part. I'm going to zoom in, okay? I'm going to zoom in onto this. And I'm going to zoom in on the next page because that's where the oxygen is. And we want to know how many oxygens we need for one molecule of glucose. We need to know how many, yeah, exactly, how many oxygens we need. So remember, lower left-hand corner, there's one glucose molecule, right? And we eventually break it down completely through the electron transport chain. And we want to know how many oxygens are needed to break this down. And so in the process of oxidative phosphorylation, recall that I noted on the previous page that we have NADH and FADH2 here, right? So this is where they're added in. And remember, we had 10 NADHs and 2 FADHs too. And if you really wanted to figure out how many O2 molecules were produced for every one molecule of glucose, you'd have to figure out how many O2s are needed in the process of giving 10 and 2 NADH and FADH2 respectively to the electron transport chain, right? Because for every NADH2 or FADH2, you'll notice that the electrons are taken out and they go down the chain and eventually end up reducing oxygen to water. And so O2 is reduced to water. So to figure out how many oxygens are needed, right, if you were running through the process, if you wanted to figure out how many oxygens are needed, you would actually have to figure out how many NADH slash FADH2s do you need for every oxygen. And a lot of students will try to think about it. They'll be like, man, I've never actually even thought of that question. And that's a very hard question to answer because in this case, you might think that one NADH is needed to reduce one oxygen, but there's nothing that ever says that. There's no distinct ratio that tells you how many NADHs slash FADH2s you need to drop off their electrons to eventually reduce oxygen. So this is actually hard to determine. So let me show you the easiest way. And this is something the MCAT relies on a lot, okay? Sometimes the MCAT will ask a question and you'll be misled down the wrong path and you'll be thinking this intricate thing. And remember, if you're thinking and it gets to be this complicated, you're probably doing something wrong. And in this case, it is very intense. So the easiest way to do this question is you want to always remember the big picture. And the big picture is when you think about respiration, you should think about this formula. Look at this formula. This formula says it all, right? And this is something that a lot of students going to the question will not look at, but you always want to come back to the big picture. And the formula already tells us for every one glucose molecule, there are 6 oxygens needed. That's the formula. The formula says it. You going through cellular respiration, whether that be through glycolysis, through Krebs cycle, through oxidative phosphorylation, is not going to help at all. And all you need to do is refer to the formula. And so the answer here, believe it or not, is actually 6. So E. And I hope I tried to show you, I tried to show you that it's always good to look at the big picture, but I also tried to show you that it can be very, very easy to get caught up in the details, and you find yourself doing a lot more work than necessary. You're probably doing something incorrectly. So with that, subscribe, like, and please let me know if you have any questions on this, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. See you later. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Really appreciate it. You want to check out any of my other videos, there's going to be one right here, another link to one of my videos right here, and another video right here. Why not? I'll put one video right over here. And last but not least, if you want to subscribe to this channel, really appreciate it, because I'm still an early YouTuber trying to get it down, but a subscription button should be right over here. So please subscribe. Cool. Thanks. See you guys in the next one. Hope you find these videos helpful.